Welcome to Monk's Temple. Find a comfortable position where you can rest without disturbance. Let your body settle into the support beneath you. Feel the gentle rhythm of your breath, moving in and out without any need to control it. This quiet space we enter together isn't about adding more knowledge to an already busy mind. It's about remembering a wisdom that lives within you, as natural as your own heartbeat. Tonight, we embark on a journey of remembrance, guided by principles that have brought peace to countless hearts for over 2 millennia. I'd like you to imagine something with me. Picture a single leaf resting on the surface of a vast, slow-moving river. The leaf isn't trying to steer. It isn't paddling upstream or fighting the current. It simply floats, carried by a force far greater than itself. It touches rocks gently, spins in calm eddies, and moves steadily toward the sea with a kind of surrendered trust. The Buddha's teachings point to a profound truth: in your essence, you are that leaf. Your worries, your frantic plans, your exhausting attempts to control every outcome, these arise when you forget this simple truth. You start flapping against the water, trying to command the river's flow, convinced you must navigate every rapid alone. You exhaust yourself, yet the river continues, patient and immense. Peace doesn't begin when you reach a mythical calm sea. Peace begins the very moment you stop swimming against the current and remember how to float. This is the first invitation, to release your struggle and trust the intelligence of the flow. Let me share a story from my early days of seeking. I was traveling to study with a teacher said to live in a remote mountain cave, a man renowned for his silence and deep realization. In my mind, I had painted a vivid picture: an ancient, immobile sage seated in perfect meditation, a statue of peace. After a grueling journey, I finally arrived at the base of the cliff where his cave was located. I climbed, my heart pounding with anticipation. When I reached the opening, I peered inside, expecting profound stillness. Instead, I found an old man hunched over, muttering irritably. He was trying to light a small, stubborn fire for his tea, and the kindling was damp. He wasn't serene, he was frustrated, human. He saw me, a startled young seeker in the doorway, and his face broke into a wide, gap-toothed grin. "Ah! You have timing. Come, blow on these embers with me. This stubborn old fire is teaching me more about patience today than any scripture." I knelt in the dirt, bewildered, and together we blew on the weak coals until a tiny flame caught. As we sat later, sipping bitter tea, he spoke. But he didn't speak of emptiness or nirvana. He spoke of the fire, of the damp wood, of the necessity of both breath and patience. My idealized image of enlightenment shattered in that smoky cave. In its place was something real, wisdom found not in escaping human irritation, but in meeting it fully, in blowing on damp embers with complete attention. The teacher I had traveled so far to find wasn't a statue. He was life itself, teaching me through a stubborn flame and shared effort. The lesson was immediate and humbling. Peace isn't the absence of difficulty, it's the quality of presence you bring to it. This experience touches on a cornerstone of Buddhist understanding: impermanence, or anicca. The Buddha taught that all conditioned things are in a constant state of flux. Nothing composed remains unchanged. This isn't a bleak truth, it's the key to liberation. Consider the weather. A storm gathers, dark and intimidating. Thunder shakes the windows. You might feel a clutch of fear, believing the tempest will last forever. But you know, somewhere deeper, that it cannot. It is a temporary meeting of wind and water vapor. It will expend its energy and pass. The clear sky behind it was never gone, it was only temporarily hidden. Your mind is the sky. Your worries, your joys, your anger, your bliss. These are the weather systems. They are dramatic and commanding, but they are not permanent. They are passing formations. Suffering arises when you see a storm cloud and think, this is the sky now. This is my reality forever. You barricade yourself indoors, waiting for an endless downpour. But the nature of weather is to change. The nature of your feelings is to flow. When you internalize this, you can watch a thunderhead of anxiety form on your horizon and, instead of panicking, you can say, "Ah, I see you. You are dark and full of sound. I will make a space for you. And I will remember you are passing through." This knowing doesn't always stop the rain instantly, but it gives you an inner shelter. It allows you to be the sky, vast, open, and fundamentally unchanged, rather than the storm. Let's explore this with a new metaphor. Imagine you are a deep, ancient well. At the very bottom, the water is still, cool, and perfectly clear. This is your true nature, calm, aware, reflective. But on the surface, wind blows. It creates ripples, disturbances, choppy patterns. Leaves fall in, creating commotion. Sticks break the surface tension. These surface disturbances are your daily thoughts, your swirling worries, the incessant chatter of the mind. Most of us live exclusively at this agitated surface, identifying with every ripple, every passing leaf. We think, "I am anxious," when in reality, a wind of thought is moving across our surface. The practice of mindfulness, central to the Buddhist path, is not about stopping the wind or fishing out every leaf. It is the gentle, patient process of sinking your awareness beneath the surface turbulence, down toward the still water below. With each breath, you can imagine descending past the ripples, past the churn, down to that deep, silent reservoir. From that depth, you can look up and see the surface activity for what it truly is, temporary, superficial movement. You are not the ripples. You are the well that contains them. Your peace is not dependent on a calm surface, it is the ever-present depth that remains undisturbed, waiting for your attention to return to it. This is why the struggle for control is so exhausting. You are like someone kneeling at the edge of the well, frantically trying to smooth the ripples with your hands. The more you slap at the water, the more chaotic and muddy it becomes. You are fighting the very nature of water to respond to the wind. The Buddhist path suggests a radically different approach. Step back. Stop splashing. Let the wind blow. Your primary task is not to control the surface conditions. Your task is to remember the depth, to know it is always there, and to learn to rest in that knowing. From that place of inner rest, your actions in the world become qualitatively different. They arise not from the frantic, reactive energy of the surface ripple, but from the calm, clear clarity of the deep water. If this idea of finding a still point within life's storms resonates with you, I warmly invite you to join our community here at Monk's Temple. By subscribing, you plant a gentle flag for your own peace, a quiet reminder to return to this well of stillness whenever the winds pick up. Your journey toward inner quiet is honored here, and we would be deeply grateful to have you continue alongside us. Now, let this understanding settle into you like a stone sinking into that clear, deep well. There is no urgency. Feel your breath, the anchor that leads you from the turbulent surface down into your own serene depths. When you feel ready, we will continue, exploring how this deep, still awareness begins to transform your relationship with everything you experience. Let's continue our journey inward. Having touched upon the deep well and the ever-changing sky, let's explore what happens when we truly begin to rest in that place of inner stillness. It involves a subtle but revolutionary shift in identity. We spend our lives believing we are the narrator of a complex, often anxious story. But what if you are not the narrator? What if you are the silent, spacious awareness in which the story is being told? Picture an old, quiet cinema. The projector is your thinking mind. It spins tales of the past, regrets, nostalgias, old wounds. It casts vivid fantasies of the future, desires, worries, intricate plans. These stories are compelling. They have light and sound, color and emotion. It is incredibly easy to get lost in them, to lean forward in your seat, to believe the drama unfolding on the screen is real and is happening to you. You cry at the sad parts, flinch at the scary parts, ache for the romance. This is how we commonly live, utterly, completely identified with the movie. But the Buddha's wisdom invites you to do something extraordinary. It asks you to slowly, gently, lean back in your seat. To feel the plush fabric of the chair beneath you. To notice the dim, red glow of the exit signs. To become aware of the very fact that you are in a cinema. The movie is still playing, the thoughts, the feelings, the storylines, but now there is a new, liberating context. You are the aware presence watching the show. You are not the hero or the victim on the screen. You are the conscious witness in the seat. This shift, from actor to audience, from thought to awareness, is the very heart of mindfulness. It doesn't stop the movie. Life will continue to project its dramas. But you are no longer at their mercy. You have found your true seat, your true home. A personal memory surfaces to illustrate this. For years, I carried a deep-seated, familiar story of not being enough. It was my mind's favorite, most worn film reel. Whenever I faced a challenge, the projector would whir to life, vivid scenes of childhood criticism, moments of perceived failure, comparisons to others where I always fell short. I was the tragic protagonist in this drama. One rainy season at the temple, I was given the solitary, humble task of repainting a long, cracked courtyard wall. It was tedious, physical work. As I painted, the "not enough" movie started, of course. "You're too slow. Others would have finished by now. This is meaningless, manual labor." I felt the familiar, heavy ache of inadequacy settle in my chest. But that day, soaked in a mix of rain and sweat, something within me simply broke open. Instead of being sucked into the film's narrative, I heard the sound of the projector itself for the very first time. It was a faint, mechanical hum underlying all the drama. I stopped, brush in hand, and just listened to that hum. And I realized the hum was constant, whether the scene was sad or joyful. The hum was the mere energy of thinking, the fact of mental activity. In that moment, I leaned back. I felt the real ache in my painting arm, the cool rain on the back of my neck, the rich smell of wet earth. I was in the tangible cinema of the courtyard, and the "not enough" movie was just one of many that could play on its wall. It lost its captivating power. I finished painting the wall not as a defeated hero, but simply as a man painting a wall, one mindful stroke at a time. The story didn't vanish forever, but it could no longer hold me captive. I had found my seat. This understanding connects directly to the profound Buddhist teaching of non-self, or anatta. This is not a nihilistic idea that you don't exist. It is the liberating realization that what you typically call me is a flowing collection of temporary phenomena, a body, sensations, perceptions, mental formations, and consciousness. Like a chariot is merely the convenient name for the sum of its parts: wheels, axle, carriage, reins. And not some separate, independent chariotness. Your sense of a solid, permanent, separate self is a mental construct, a useful but ultimately empty concept. You are a process, a river of experience. When you cling to this construct as a fixed me and mine, you set yourself up for inevitable suffering. Because everything you cling to, your reputation, your achievements, your relationships, your very personality, is, by its nature, impermanent. To defend this fragile, fictional fortress is a recipe for constant anxiety. But when you see through the illusion, you are free. You can experience anger without solidifying into an angry person. You can fail at a task without becoming a failure. You can watch the movie of your life with compassion, curiosity, and a deep, unshakable peace, because you know you are not the character on the screen. You are the boundless, aware space in which the character arises, plays its part, and passes away. Let's explore this with a new, original metaphor, the tapestry of interconnection. Before you, imagine a magnificent, intricate tapestry. It depicts a vast forest scene, ancient trees, dappled sunlight, hidden streams, creatures peeking through foliage. If you look very, very closely, you see it is made of countless individual threads. Green threads of varying shades for leaves, brown and gray for bark, blue for sky, silver for water, gold for sunbeams. Now, if you were to carefully pull out one single thread, a lone green strand, and hold it up, you might be tempted to say, "This is the forest." That would be absurd. That one thread is connected to, dependent on, and interwoven with every other thread in the entire piece. The beautiful forest exists only in the relationship, the interconnection, of all the threads. There is no independent, separate forest apart from the threads, and no single thread exists as forest by itself. You are that living tapestry. The threads are all the elements of your existence, your genetic heritage, your childhood experiences, your relationships, the food you eat, the air you breathe, the books you've read, the kindness you've received and given. The thought, "I am so worried," is just one thread among billions. But you habitually pull that thread out, isolate it, and declare with conviction, "This is me. I am a worried person." In doing so, you ignore the entire, beautiful, complex, and resilient tapestry of which that thread is but a tiny, temporary part. You are not a single, isolated thread. You are the whole, ever-weaving, ever-changing pattern. Your sense of a separate, anxious self is an optical illusion of the mind. When you learn to rest in the awareness of the whole tapestry, the single, worrisome thread loses its terrifying dominance. It is seen in its true context, as part of a grander, more intelligent design that you cannot fully comprehend from your limited vantage point. Your next breath is a thread. The sound of the wind outside is a thread. The feeling of your heart beating in your chest is a thread. You are the living artwork, not the isolated flaw. This perspective naturally fosters immense compassion, for yourself and for others. When someone acts from hurt or anger, you can learn to see they are painfully caught in the illusion of a single, painful thread, perhaps the thread of threat or abandonment. You can begin to respond to the whole person, the complex tapestry of their being, rather than reacting violently to the single, frayed strand they are presenting in that moment. Your own worries soften when you see them as mere threads in a larger, benevolent unfolding. You begin to trust the weaver. So tonight, as you rest, practice being the cinema, not the film. Practice being the tapestry, not the single thread. Feel the awareness that holds all of it. Notice a thought, and instead of jumping into its story, simply acknowledge it. Ah, there is the planning thread. There is the remembering thread. Let them weave themselves into the larger pattern without your frantic interference. Your only real task is to be the spacious, compassionate ground of witnessing. From this place, action will arise when it is needed, but it will be wise action, born of clarity, not reactive movement born of fear. This is a deep, gentle practice. Be endlessly patient with yourself. Each moment of remembering your true seat is a silent victory. Are you ready to go deeper into how this awareness shapes our movement through the world? Shall we continue? Let's continue. As we learn to rest as the awareness behind the thoughts, a natural and important question arises: how then do we move in the world? If we are not the frantic narrator, what guides our steps? This brings us to a practical and empowering Buddhist principle: trust in the natural law of cause and effect, often called karma. This is frequently misunderstood as a simplistic, punitive scorecard of good and bad deeds. It is far more subtle, intelligent, and compassionate than that. It is the understanding that every intentional thought, every spoken word, every deliberate action is like a seed planted in the fertile soil of your life. It will bear fruit in its own time, under the right conditions. You cannot plant a seed of nettle and demand a harvest of roses. You cannot plant seeds of resentment and anger and then expect to live in a garden of peace. The garden simply does not operate that way. It operates with perfect, unwavering integrity. But here is the beautiful, empowering flip side of this law: you are the gardener of this present moment. You cannot control the weather, the external circumstances that arise. You cannot change the existing soil, the conditions created by seeds sown in your past. And you cannot rush how long a seed takes to germinate and grow, the divine timing of things. But right now, in this very instant, you hold the profound power to choose which seeds you will plant. Your next thought, will it be one of criticism or one of kindness? Your next word, will it be harsh, or will it be truthful yet gentle? Your next action, will it spring from fear and contraction, or from care and openness? This is your sacred agency. Worry, in this light, is the wasted energy of a gardener who, after planting a seed yesterday, digs it up today, shakes it, and screams, "Grow! Why aren't you growing yet?" It is a futile, exhausting activity that actually disturbs the very natural process you wish to encourage. The wise gardener plants good seeds, seeds of patience, sincere effort, and integrity, waters them with mindful attention, and then trusts the innate intelligence of life to do the rest. They tend to the garden of the present, without obsessing over the harvest of an imagined future. I learned this lesson not from a scripture, but from a tiny, tenacious plant. In a narrow crack between the stone steps leading to our main meditation hall, a seedling had somehow taken root. No human hand planted it there. It was a seed carried by the wind or a bird, finding purchase in the most unlikely, inhospitable place. Every day, I would walk past it. I watched it struggle. The stone offered no nutrients. The sun beat down on it relentlessly. My mind, still prone to worry and pity, fretted for it. It will die. It's in the wrong place. Its struggle is pointless. I even considered, in a moment of misguided compassion, transplanting it to a proper flower bed. But one morning, an elder monk saw me hovering over it. He paused and said quietly, "Do not pity it. Do not move it. It is teaching you Dharma more eloquently than I can. It trusts its own nature completely. It does not complain about the crack. It does not wish it were in a different place. It simply uses everything it has, a grain of wind-blown dust, a single drop of overnight rain, to become exactly what it is. Watch. It knows something you are still learning." So I stopped. I watched. And that seedling, against all apparent odds, grew. It didn't become a giant, shade-giving oak. It became a slender, tough little bush with tiny, resilient, fragrant leaves. It became perfectly, unapologetically itself. Later, it even produced its own seeds, which found other cracks. It was a living masterpiece of trust and adaptation. It didn't worry about not being in a flower bed. It simply lived, fully and completely, in the crack it found itself in. My job was not to save it, but to learn from it. To plant my own efforts right where I stood, with whatever materials I had at hand, and trust my own nature to find a way. This leads us to a crucial distinction on the path. The difference between forcing and allowing. Our modern culture often glorifies forcing, pushing, striving, making things happen through sheer willpower and grit. There is certainly a place for disciplined, right effort. But Buddhist wisdom speaks more profoundly of allowing. It is the difference between trying to pry open a rosebud with your anxious fingers, which only damages the petals, and providing sunlight and water, than allowing the bud to open in its own perfect, unhurried time. Your life is that bud. Worry is the desperate, damaging prying. Trust is the patient provision of good internal conditions and the graceful allowing of the unfolding. Imagine now that you are floating on your back in a calm, salty sea. The water naturally holds you up. If you relax your body completely, you float effortlessly. Your breathing is easy. You gaze at the vast, open sky. But if you start to panic, if you stiffen your limbs and begin to thrash, you start to sink. You are fighting the very water that is designed to support you. Your struggle creates the danger. So much of our suffering is exactly this. We thrash in the ocean of life, fighting the supportive, intelligent current that is already holding us. We sink under the weight of our own resistance. The practice is to notice the tension, the thrashing, the worried thought, the clenched jaw, the tight stomach, and consciously, gently choose to relax. To soften the body. To let the breath become easy and full. To remember, in your bones, that you are held. The sea of cause and effect is vast and intelligent. You are not floating alone in a meaningless void. You are floating in a living, responsive medium. Your relaxed trust is not passivity, it is the wisest, most aligned form of participation. It aligns your being with the current that naturally wants to carry you toward wholeness. So, how do we apply this in daily life? Begin small, today. Plant one seed of conscious, no strings attached kindness. It could be a silent, sincere wish for someone's well-being. It could be a moment of true patience with yourself when you make a mistake. It could be a small, unseen act of help. Plant that seed, and then mentally let it go. Do not return later to dig it up and see if it has sprouted gratitude or recognition. Your part, the planting, is complete. The universe will handle the germination and growth in its own way and time. When a wave of worry about the future crashes over you, recognize it as thrashing in the water. Instead of following the worry's storyline, drop your awareness into your body. Consciously relax your shoulders. Feel the solid support of your chair or the ground beneath you. You are shifting from forcing a specific outcome to allowing yourself to be supported in this present moment. This is how you garden with wisdom. This is how you learn to float. Your power is immense, but its point of application is always now. You cannot change the seeds planted yesterday, but you can choose, today, not to water the weeds of resentment. You cannot control tomorrow's storm, but you can, today, strengthen your inner roots of calm. This is the sane, sustainable, and serene path. It replaces the exhausting anxiety of control with the peaceful serenity of wise, present-moment contribution. The journey inward is naturally bringing us to ever more practical wisdom. Let this understanding integrate. Feel the profound freedom in tending only to the seed you hold in the palm of this present moment. Would you like to explore how this trust transforms our deepest relationships and attachments? Shall we continue? Let's continue our exploration. We've spoken of inner stillness, wise gardening, and floating trust. Now, let's turn this gentle awareness toward perhaps the most fertile and painful ground for our worry, our relationships with others and our attachments to the things of this world. Here, the Buddha's philosophy offers one of its most piercing and ultimately liberating insights: the very root of our anguish is attachment. It is vital to understand that attachment is not love. It is love's shadow, its distorted echo. Love says, "I cherish this beautiful, fragile flower." It admires its beauty, cares for it gently, and when its season ends and the petals begin to fall, love holds the memory with gratitude, allowing the flower to return peacefully to the earth. Attachment says, "This flower is mine. It must never wilt. Its beauty is the sole source of my happiness." It builds a tiny, suffocating glass case around the flower, trying to arrest time itself, and then lives in constant terror of the case cracking. When the flower inevitably fades, attachment feels betrayed, heartbroken, and empty. Attachment is the desperate, fearful grip. Love is the open, grateful, allowing palm. We attach not only to people, but to outcomes, to our identities, to possessions, to the rigid story of how we believe our life should look. We whisper to ourselves, "I will finally be happy when I get this job, when I am with this partner, when I have this amount of money, when I receive that recognition." We chain our inner peace to external, ever-changing conditions. And because everything in this conditioned world is impermanent, we are, with each attachment, setting ourselves up for certain suffering. It is like building your home on the shifting sands of a riverbank and then declaring with fury that the river must never flood or change its course. When it does, you are devastated, blaming the river for being a river. The Buddha's teaching does not ask you to stop loving. It asks you to love more deeply, more freely, by releasing the tight fist of attachment. It invites you to love as the sun loves the earth. The sun gives its light and warmth unconditionally. It does not say, "I will only shine on the beautiful, orderly gardens, not on the wild forests or the desolate deserts." It does not cling to the earth, demanding it stay in one fixed orbit. It shines because shining is its essential nature. Your true nature, beneath the layers of fear, is to love, to connect, to appreciate. Attachment is the fearful distortion that says, "But this love must look a certain way, must last forever, and must satisfy me in order to be valid." When you let that distortion soften, love becomes fearless, expansive, and light. I witnessed this transformation in a way that forever changed my understanding. There was an elderly woman who lived in the village near our temple. She had outlived her husband, all her siblings, and most of her lifelong friends. She lived simply, in a small house with a wild, vibrant garden that seemed to embrace her. People in the village sometimes pitied her, speaking in hushed tones about her loneliness. But to those who knew her, she was a quiet beacon of steady joy. Children were drawn to her. Stray animals found solace on her porch. One afternoon, I gathered my courage and asked her, hoping for a profound spiritual secret. She was mending an old, frayed shawl, her hands moving with a steady rhythm. She didn't look up immediately. After a long silence, she said, "I used to be like this shawl." She held it up. Tightly woven. Every thread had to be in its proper place. My happiness was knotted to my husband's mood, my children's achievements, the perfect cleanliness of my home. I thought if I could just keep everything perfectly in place, I would be safe. She ran her finger over a patch. But life, of course, pulls threads. My husband died. That was not a pulled thread, it was a great tear right through the center. My children grew up and moved across the world. More tears. Sickness came. More tears. She paused, her eyes clear and calm. For years, I tried desperately to reweave the holes back to the original pattern. I used the same color thread, the same tight knots, trying to make it look like the damage had never happened. It was impossible. I was exhausted, fighting a battle with time itself. Then she smiled. One day, I simply gave up. I stopped trying to recreate the old shawl. I went to my basket and took out new thread, different colors, different textures, some coarse, some soft. And I began to mend the tears, not to hide them, but to honor them. To make the shawl whole again, in a new way. She wrapped the mended shawl around her shoulders. It was a tapestry of her history. Dark patches of grief next to bright threads of resilience, sturdy repairs over thin, worn areas. "This is my life now," she said softly. "It is not the fabric I started with. It is a patchwork of love and loss, all woven together with acceptance. It is warmer, more interesting, and far, far stronger than the original ever was. I am no longer attached to the first design. I am in love with the mending." Her wisdom was not in words, but in the embodied truth of that shawl. She had moved from attachment to a specific, frozen past form, to a loving, creative, fearless engagement with the present, imperfect reality. Her peace was not in spite of the tears, but woven from them. This is the practical heart of non-attachment. It is the fearless mending of the heart with the thread of present moment acceptance. When you worry about losing someone, you are fearing a future tear in the shawl of your life. Non-attachment doesn't mean you wouldn't feel the deep, natural grief of loss if they left. It means you don't poison the precious present connection with the constant fear of future loss. You love them fully, openly, now, with an open palm. You mend the small, daily tears of misunderstanding with the thread of forgiveness. You understand, at a cellular level, that the shawl is always changing. Your commitment is not to preserving a frozen snapshot, but to the skillful, loving act of mending, whatever the design may become. Let's use a new metaphor, the open cup. Imagine you have a precious, empty cup. This cup is your heart, your capacity to hold experience. Life pours things into your cup, joy like sweet, warm tea, sorrow like bitter, necessary medicine, peace like clear, cool water, anxiety like effervescent, bubbling soda. A mind ruled by attachment says, I only want the sweet tea. I will cling to this cup of tea forever and block anything else from being poured in. It tries to slap a lid on the cup. But life keeps pouring. The tea inside grows stale and cold. The cup cannot receive the cleansing water or the healing medicine. It becomes a stagnant, closed vessel. A heart practicing non-attachment holds the cup open, willingly, vulnerably. It says, pour what you will. I am here to receive. It receives the sweet tea with deep gratitude, savoring it fully, knowing it is a temporary, precious taste. When the bitter medicine comes, it does not spit it out or curse the pourer. It receives that, too, knowing it may have healing properties it cannot yet understand. It lets the soda bubbles of anxiety fizz and pop and subside without trying to clamp a lid on them to contain the frenzy. Because the cup is open, it can also be emptied. It can let experiences flow through. Felt completely, honored, and then released. This open cup is always clean, always capable of receiving the next experience fully. Your worry is the hand desperately trying to clamp the lid down on a particular content, to make it permanent. Peace is the courage to keep the cup open, to trust the sacred process of pouring and emptying, of tasting and releasing. So, in your relationships and endeavors, begin to practice being an open cup. Love without demanding the other person fill you in a specific, unchanging way. Work and create without obsessing over a fixed, required outcome. Hold your possessions, your status, even your beliefs, lightly. When you feel the familiar grip of attachment tighten, this must happen. They must not change. Pause. Feel your hand as the open cup. Breathe into that openness. Remember the mended shawl. Your life is not a static portrait to be protected under glass. It is a living, breathing tapestry, a constantly mended garment, an open cup. Its beauty and its resilience lie in its fluidity, in its courageous capacity to hold and release, to be shaped and transformed by all that it receives. This is a deep, challenging, and lifelong practice. Be gentle with yourself. Each moment of open-palmed awareness, each act of mending without demanding the old pattern, is a stitch in a more beautiful, flexible, and truly whole cloth. Are you ready to look at one of the most common sources of our struggle, the relentless, anxiety-producing pull of time itself? Shall we continue? Let's continue. Our exploration now brings us to a quiet, pervasive anxiety that underpins so much of our worry, the tyranny of time. We feel we are running out of it. We feel we are irreparably behind. We compare our own slow, meandering chapter to someone else's dazzling climax. We mourn a past we cannot change and dread a future we cannot see, consistently abandoning the only moment we ever truly possess, the eternal now. The Buddha placed immense, practical emphasis on mindfulness of the present moment. This is not a passive, sleepy state. It is the most dynamic, alive, and powerful place from which you can possibly live. Think of your life as a magnificent, ancient tree. Your awareness is a traveler walking slowly around it. If you stand focusing all your attention on the roots, the deep, buried past, you see only old wounds, foundations, hidden things. It is dark and tangled down there. If you crane your neck, staring only at the outermost, thinnest tips of the highest branches, the distant future, you see only fragile, swaying possibilities, far from the tree's sturdy core. It is dizzying and insubstantial up there. But if you stop walking, place your hands firmly on the broad trunk, right here, right now, you feel something solid, real, and vibrantly alive. You feel the sap flowing just beneath the bark, the life force of this very moment. You are connected to both roots and branches, but you are grounded in the undeniable reality of the tree's present existence. This is mindfulness, coming home to the trunk of the now. Worry is the act of mentally dragging the darkness of the roots up into your present sunlight, or of painting the fragility of the distant branches across your current sky. It dislocates you from reality. You are physically here, but mentally you are lost in a painful past memory or a frightening future fantasy. You are, in a very real sense, missing your own life as it happens. The present moment is rarely, if ever, an emergency. Even in the midst of great physical or emotional pain, the raw sensation of this breath, this single heartbeat, is manageable. It is the story you wrap around the pain. This will never end, this proves I am broken, this means my future is ruined, that creates the unbearable suffering. The story belongs to the past or the future. The pure sensation belongs to the now. I learned about the solidity of the trunk during a long period of agonizing waiting. I had applied for a rare, coveted opportunity to study a particular ancient text with a master overseas. The waiting period was several months. My mind became a torture chamber of alternate futures. What if I get it? What will I need to do? What if I don't? What will that say about me? I was miserable, emotionally suspended between two imaginary poles, unable to inhabit my actual life. My teacher, seeing my palpable agitation, gave me a seemingly ridiculous, mundane task. To count every single stone in the foundation of the main meditation hall. Not estimate. Count. Each one. It was tedious, minute, and utterly, boringly present. At first, my mind rebelled violently. But slowly, as I knelt on the hard ground, touching each cool, rough stone, noting its unique shape, its color, its solidity, something profound shifted. The frantic future fantasies lost their magnetic pull. There was only this stone under my fingertips. Then the next. The gritty dust, the unyielding solidity, the faint smell of old earth. I was, for the first time in weeks, fully located in my body, in that room, in that hour. I never did get an accurate count, my mind still wandered. But I received the lesson. The waiting itself stopped hurting. It became just a condition, like the weather. My life was not on hold. It was happening vividly in the touching of stones, the sound of my own steadying breath, the slow slant of afternoon light across the worn floorboards. When the letter finally arrived months later, I was not selected. The disappointment was real but clean. It was a single event in the present, not the catastrophic, identity-shattering future my worry had constructed. And because I had been practicing living in the trunk of the now, I was strong, clear, and resilient enough to bear that moment and, soon after, to see the new branches that began to grow in a completely different, unexpected direction. This practice is intimately connected to what we might call trust in life's own timing. A flower does not bloom because it reads a calendar or compares itself to the blossom next door. It blooms when the conditions are precisely right for it, when it has absorbed enough sunlight for its specific needs, when its roots have found enough water, when its unique internal clock whispers, "Now." You are that flower. Your growth, your unfolding, has its own innate, intelligent rhythm, perfectly calibrated to your singular journey. When you compare your progress to another's, you are comparing your early, tentative spring to another's high, abundant summer. It is a meaningless comparison that only breeds anxiety and ingratitude. Your timeline is yours alone. The apparent delays, the necessary periods of fallow stillness, the sudden, surprising spurts of growth. They are all part of your specific, sacred developmental cycle. A delay is not life denying you, it is life whispering that the soil is not yet warm enough, or that your roots need to grow deeper and stronger before you can safely support the magnificent blossom that is your destiny. Imagine you are a river in the long, slow, patient process of carving a canyon. You cannot see the grand, majestic canyon you will become from your limited perspective as a single drop of water. You can only flow around the next rock, cascade over the next small ledge, follow the path of least resistance in this instant. The immense, awe-inspiring shape is created drop by drop, moment by patient moment, over spans of time you cannot grasp. Your life is that carving. Your worry is the drop of water fretting, "Am I going the right way? Is this taking too long? Look at that other river over there, it's so much wider and faster." It is a comical, heartbreaking absurdity when seen from the canyon's perspective. You are the river. Trust your flow. The grand, beautiful design is being created precisely by your faithful, present moment participation. The rock that seems to block you today is the very thing that will redirect your flow tomorrow into a more graceful, powerful curve. So, how do we practically live this? Begin by anchoring yourself in your senses. This is how you touch the trunk of the tree. Right now. What do you hear? Don't label it car or wind. Just hear the raw sound itself. What do you feel on your skin? The weight of your body against the chair. The texture of fabric. The air temperature. What can you see, even with your eyes closed, the play of light and shadow on your eyelids? Spend a few moments simply collecting the pure, uninterpreted data of the present through your senses. This simple act powerfully pulls you out of the mental time travel of worry. When you find yourself catastrophizing about tomorrow, gently say to yourself, "That is a future branch," and return to feeling the solid trunk of your breath in your body. When you are ruminating on a past hurt, whisper, "That is an old root," and feel the solid ground literally beneath your feet right now. Your power, your peace, your actual life is only ever available in the present moment. The past is a memory, occurring now. The future is a fantasy, occurring now. Only the now is fundamentally, irreducibly real. By learning to inhabit it fully, you stop missing your life and start truly living it. And from this grounded place of embodied presence, you will find you make wiser decisions, love more deeply and attentively, and move in harmony with the current of your own true timing, not the frantic, artificial tick of societal or comparative clocks. Let this truth settle into your bones like a deep, comforting warmth. You are not late. You are not early. You are exactly where you need to be. Your now is entirely, utterly enough. This growing understanding of presence naturally leads us to consider the very space that holds it all, the profound silence from which every thought, sound, and sensation arises. Shall we continue? Let's continue, moving now into a subtler, more profound layer of our exploration. We've spoken of thoughts, time, attachment, and presence. Underneath all of these experiences, there is a ground. A silence. A spacious awareness. This is not an empty, dead void. It is a fertile, intelligent, alive stillness. In the Buddhist tradition, this is often pointed to as the very nature of mind itself. Before the thought arises, after the emotion passes, in the brief gap between two breaths, there is a silent, aware presence that simply is. Your worries are like loud, clanging bells in a tower. But the silence that contains the sound of the bell is vaster, older, and utterly, completely undisturbed by it. Your most important practice is to discover that you are not the bell, nor even the reverberating sound. You are the boundless silence that allows all sound to come and go. Picture a vast, clear, night sky, free from city lights. This is your fundamental awareness. Thoughts and worries are like meteors. Sudden, bright streaks of light that blaze dramatically across the dark expanse. They are intense. They grab your entire attention. You might find yourself following one with your eyes, gasping at its fiery trail. But the sky does not cling to the meteor. It does not tear itself or become scarred by the streak. The meteor burns out in a moment and is gone. The sky remains, clear, vast, silent, and untouched. It is the constant, peaceful background against which all temporary phenomena play out. You are that sky. Your true, enduring home is not in the fleeting, fiery drama of worry, but in the peaceful, boundless dark that holds it. The more you learn to rest in the identity of the sky, the less the passing meteors of fear can startle or control you. You can appreciate their brief, dramatic beauty without mistaking them for permanent stars. This silent awareness is also the source of true intuition and uncanny wisdom. It is not the chattering voice in your head that offers anxious advice or endless commentary. It is the deep, quiet knowing that arises spontaneously when the chatter dies down. It is the sudden clarity that appears in the gap between thoughts. It is the gut feeling that is calm and certain, not frantic and fearful. Worry fills your inner space with so much noise that it completely blocks your access to this deeper intelligence. It is like trying to hear the soft whisper of a friend while standing in the middle of a roaring, howling windstorm. When you cultivate inner silence, even for a few moments each day, you turn down the volume of the wind. You begin to hear the gentle whisper of your own soul, which always, without fail, guides you toward healing, wholeness, and right action. I experienced the tangible power of this silence during my first extended silent retreat. It was a simple structure. 3 days without speaking, reading, writing, or any external entertainment. Just meditation, mindful walking, simple chores, and rest. By the afternoon of the first day, the usual mental noise had reached a frantic, almost deafening pitch out of sheer boredom and resistance. It was a chaotic cacophony of plans, old song lyrics, memories, self-criticism, and fantasy. It was exhausting. I felt like I was failing miserably at being peaceful. On the morning of the second day, something subtle but significant shifted. It was as if my mind, having thrown its entire, familiar repertoire at me and seeing I wasn't engaging with it, began to tire itself out. The noise didn't stop completely, but it started to seem distant, like hearing the clamor of a busy marketplace from several streets away. In the newly apparent spaces between the racket, I began to notice other things. The incredible, intricate complexity in the call of a single bird outside the window. The way a beam of sunlight moved, grain by grain of dust, across the wooden floor in a silent, golden sweep. And most importantly, a profound, wordless sense of peace that had nothing to do with my thoughts or feelings. It was just there, like the air in the room, inherent and available. On the third day, during a slow walking meditation, a personal dilemma I had been wrestling with for months surfaced. In my normal state, my mind would have launched immediately into its noisy, cyclical debate, weighing pros and cons with frantic energy. But this time, in the relative inner quiet, the answer didn't come as a verbal argument. It came as a simple, clear, silent image in my mind's eye, like a single, perfect leaf settling gently onto the surface of still water. It was obvious. It was right. And it carried no emotional charge, only a peaceful certainty. That was the unmistakable voice of silence. It wasn't me figuring something out. It was truth revealing itself in the spaciousness I had finally made for it. To cultivate this in daily life, we can use the metaphor of the silent lake. Your mind is like a deep mountain lake. On a windy, stormy day, the surface is all choppy waves, whitecaps, and broken reflections. You cannot see anything beneath the surface, everything is agitation and distortion. This is the state of worry. The surface of your mind is turbulent, obscuring the depths. Your thoughts are the wind. The practice of mindfulness and meditation is not primarily about stopping the wind, though it may calm over time. It is about learning the skill of diving below the surface. Even just a few feet down, below the wind's influence, the water becomes calmer, quieter, clearer. The deeper you go, the more still and silent it becomes. In the profound, dark depths, it is utterly silent, profoundly peaceful, and crystal clear. This depth is always present, regardless of the hurricane raging on the surface. Your work is to practice diving. Each time you focus your attention on a single, steady point, the physical sensation of the breath, a meaningful word or phrase, the flame of a candle, you are diving below the churning, stormy surface. You may not reach the absolute depths immediately, but even going just a little deeper brings more calm and perspective. You begin to realize you always have this choice. You can stay on the storm-tossed surface, identified with every wave of thought, or you can learn the liberating skill of diving into the inner silence that is your true, abiding nature. So tonight, and in the days to come, practice being the sky behind the meteors. Practice diving below the surface waves of thought. You don't need to create the silence, it is already here. You only need to notice it. It is in the natural pause at the end of your out-breath. It is in the brief gap between two sounds. It is in the precious moment of hesitation before you react in anger. Seek out these gaps intentionally. Rest in them. Even a few accumulated seconds of resting in the silent awareness between thoughts is more restorative for your soul than hours of being tangled in the noisy web of worrying. From this silence, everything heals. From this silence, intuitive, right action emerges naturally. From this silence, you remember who you truly are. This silent, aware presence is what ultimately transforms not just your inner world, but how you meet and interact with the outer world. Shall we explore that beautiful transformation? Let's continue. As we cultivate this inner silence and grounded presence, something beautiful, practical, and almost magical begins to happen. Our entire relationship with the outer world undergoes a transformation. We begin to see, through direct experience, that the universe is not a separate, hostile, or indifferent force to be conquered or endured. It functions more like a responsive field of energy that mirrors our inner state back to us. This is not mere mysticism, it is an observable law of life evident in psychology, energy, and simple cause and effect, like attracts like. A mind vibrating with worry and tension perceives threats everywhere and unconsciously creates obstacles. A mind resting in calm openness perceives opportunities and intuitively finds solutions. The Buddha's Noble Eightfold Path begins with right view, seeing things as they truly are. A part of this right view is seeing the profound, dynamic interconnection between our inner climate and our outer experience. Think of yourself as a tuning fork, a simple instrument designed to vibrate at a specific pitch. When you are vibrating at the frantic, discordant frequency of fear, clanging with worry, anxiety, and desperate need, you resonate with that same energy in the world around you. You attract situations, people, and events that match that vibration, more things to worry about, more reasons to feel rushed and inadequate, more interactions that feel tense and fraught. Your very perception is filtered through the lens of fear, so you interpret neutral events as dangers and minor setbacks as catastrophes. Conversely, when you cultivate a frequency of calm trust, when you are still, clear, and open-hearted, you resonate with a different, more harmonious aspect of life. You begin to attract moments of helpful synchronicity, encounters with supportive people, and the emergence of creative solutions you were previously blind to. You perceive the same neutral events as workable, even interesting, challenges. The external world hasn't fundamentally changed. The tuning fork of your awareness has changed its pitch. This is why simplistic, positive thinking often fails to create lasting change. It is often an attempt to paste happy, affirmative words over an underlying, unaddressed frequency of fear and lack. It's like painting a rusty, misshapen tuning fork a bright, cheerful gold. It may look better, but when struck, it still vibrates with a dull, off-key, stressful clang. Real, transformative change happens from the inside out, when you do the quiet, consistent inner work of calming the mind, returning to the silent lake, resting as the open sky. This changes your fundamental vibrational state. From that authentic, embodied place of inner peace, positive thoughts and feelings arise naturally and organically. They are powerful and effective because they are genuine expressions of your state of being, not anxious attempts to cover it up. A story from a dear friend, a master potter, illustrates this perfectly. He described his early years in the craft, which were filled with struggle and frustration. He would enter his studio tense, worried about paying bills, deeply critical of his own skill and talent. His clay, he said, seemed to actively fight him. It would wobble and collapse on the wheel. It would crack mysteriously in the kiln. The few pots he did manage to finish felt lifeless, heavy, and uninspired. He blamed the quality of the clay, his imperfect tools, the fickleness of the market. In deep despair, he was on the verge of quitting altogether. On the gentle advice of an old mentor, he began a simple, non-negotiable ritual. Before even touching the clay, he would sit on his stool for 10 full minutes. He would just breathe. He would let his worries and mental lists settle like sediment in a jar of water. He would consciously enter a state of simple, focused, non-judgmental presence. He stopped trying to force the clay to become a masterpiece. He started listening to it, feeling its unique resistance and plasticity as a silent conversation. His hands on the wheel became softer, his attention more fluid and receptive. And as if by magic, though it was pure physics and energy, the clay changed. It became cooperative, responsive, alive. It centered on the wheel with a newfound ease. The pots that emerged from his kiln took on a graceful, light, effortlessly beautiful quality that seemed to sell themselves. The clay was from the same bag. The wheel was the same old apparatus. The kiln was unchanged. He had changed. His inner state of frantic, fearful forcing had been communicated directly through his tense hands and anxious gaze to the clay, creating palpable resistance. His new state of calm, attentive allowing created the internal and external conditions for cooperation, flow, and beauty. His outer world of work, success, and satisfaction transformed because his inner world of being had shifted first. This principle applies to every domain of your life. Your worried, tense energy communicates itself through your body language, the tone of your voice, the hurried choices you make. It subtly repels peace and attracts more chaos. Your calm, trusting, open energy communicates clarity, warmth, groundedness, and competence. It naturally attracts support, collaboration, and opens doors of opportunity that were invisible when you were squinting at the world through the lens of fear. Therefore, the most potent and effective action you can ever take to improve your life circumstances is to faithfully tend to your inner vibration. Don't just try to manage your external problems from a place of internal panic. First, and always first, return to your inner well. Breathe. Be the sky. Dive into the silent lake. Calm the tuning fork of your being. From that centered, clear, and quiet place, then look at your situation anew. You will see it with different eyes, the eyes of the sky, not the meteor. Solutions will suggest themselves. The coherent, obvious next step will become clear. This is not supernatural magic. It is the natural, lawful consequence of aligning your fundamental state of being with the peace and intelligence that underlies all of existence. Begin to see your recurring challenges and obstacles as invaluable feedback. If you keep encountering the same pattern of resistance, frustration, and blockage, pause and ask yourself with gentle curiosity, what is my inner state as I approach this? What frequency am I emitting? Are you gripping the outcome too tightly? Are you vibrating with hidden desperation or resentment? Very often, the outer blockage is a perfect mirror of an inner contraction. Soften the inner grip, shift the inner frequency, and watch as the outer obstacle often softens, shifts, or reveals a hidden path around it. Your life is not something that is happening to you, a passive victim of random fate. It is happening with you, in a constant, intimate, creative dance. You are a co-creator through the most powerful tool you possess. The quality of your own consciousness. This is an immense responsibility, yes, but more so, it is an incredible, liberating gift. It means you are never truly powerless or a victim of circumstance. You always, in every moment, hold the power to change the most important variable in the equation of your life, your own state of being. Let this understanding fill you with a quiet, steady empowerment. You hold the master key to your own experience of reality. It is not buried in a distant land or locked in a future condition. It is here, in the silent, aware space you are learning to recognize and inhabit as your true home. As we gently approach the close of our shared journey tonight, let's integrate all these threads: the leaf on the river, the deep well, the silent sky, the open cup, the trunk of the now, into a final, holistic understanding of the path of peace. Welcome to this final part of our journey together at Monk's Temple. We have traveled through many inner landscapes, from the rippling surface of the mind to the deep, still well, from the clanging bell of worry to the silent sky that holds it, from the frantic gardener to the patient tree rooted firmly in the eternal now. All of these metaphors, these stories, these gentle inquiries, point toward one integrated, livable truth: the art of being at peace with what is. The culmination of the Buddha's profound teaching is not a state of blank, indifferent neutrality. It is a vibrant, compassionate, fully engaged participation in life, rooted in an unshakable inner freedom. It is the embodied understanding that you can care deeply about the world without clinging to it. You can act wisely and vigorously without forcing outcomes. You can love other people profoundly without the shadow of fear that they might leave or change. You can meet each moment, whether it brings pleasure or pain, success or failure, with a heart that remains fundamentally open, resilient, clear, and kind. Picture a master sailor on the vast, open ocean. She does not control the wind. She cannot command the waves. She does not waste a single ounce of her precious energy railing against an approaching storm or begging the skies for a more favorable breeze. Instead, she understands the sea. She has learned to read the clouds, to feel the subtle shifts in current, to adjust her sails with skill and timing. She respects the immense, raw power of the ocean, but she is not terrified of it. She is in a dynamic, respectful, collaborative relationship with it. Her skill, her peace of mind, her success in navigating toward her destination depend not on controlling the uncontrollable ocean, but on her ability to adapt, to flow, to use the forces present to guide her vessel. She is one with the journey itself. Your life is that ocean. Your mind and heart are your vessel. Mindfulness, wisdom, and compassion are the skills you cultivate as the sailor. Worry is what happens when you drop the sails, shut your eyes, and become obsessed with old maps of where you should be, while the real, vital, present moment journey passes you by entirely. The path of peace, then, is not about finally reaching a distant destination called the perfect life. It is about perfecting your sailing through the life you actually have. It is about discovering that the peace you have been seeking is not waiting for you at the end of the voyage, but is found in the very quality of your presence at the helm, in every single moment of the voyage itself, in the sunshine and the squalls alike. Let me leave you with one final, original story, a kind of parting gift. There was a famous, ancient city, and at its main entrance stood a massive, ornate gate. Carved into the stone of this gate was an incredibly complex, beautiful maze. For generations, a legend persisted: whoever could solve the stone maze by tracing its correct path with their finger would discover the secret to eternal happiness. People would travel from far and wide to stand before the gate. They would spend hours, sometimes days, tracing the labyrinthine paths with intense concentration, getting lost in dead ends, growing frustrated, and ultimately giving up, worn out and disappointed. The stone around the maze's grooves was worn smooth by centuries of seeking fingers. One afternoon, a young traveler, weary and dusty from the long road, arrived at the gate. Instead of immediately attacking the puzzle, he simply sat down with his back against the sun-warmed stone, closed his eyes, and rested. An old gatekeeper, who had watched countless seekers, observed him with curiosity. After a long silence, the traveler let out a deep, contented sigh, simply enjoying the warmth of the stone and the fading light of the sunset. The gatekeeper ambled over. "Aren't you going to try the maze?" he asked. "They say it holds the secret to happiness." The traveler opened his eyes, a soft smile on his face. "I already have." Puzzled, the gatekeeper said, "But I've been watching. I didn't see you trace a single path." The traveler slowly raised his hand and placed his entire palm flat against the center of the stone gate, his fingers spread wide. His palm covered the heart of the maze, its start, its finish, and all its twisting paths at once. "The secret," he said, his voice barely a whisper, "is not in tracing the path out of the maze. The secret is realizing you were never actually in it. You are the space that holds the maze. You are the awareness that watches the searching. When you know that, truly know it in your bones, then every point in the maze is the center. And every single moment becomes the arrival. Your worries, your fears, your elaborate plans and regrets, are the confusing, intricate paths of that stone maze. You have spent years, perhaps a lifetime, trying to solve it with your thinking mind, tirelessly tracing the dead ends of what if, and the false starts of if only. The timeless teachings of the Buddha, which we have explored tonight, are an invitation to do what that weary traveler did, to finally step back. To place the open palm of your awareness over the entire, beautiful, complicated puzzle of your life. To realize, with a shock of gentle recognition, that you are not, and never have been, lost in the maze. You are the vast, peaceful, intelligent awareness in which the maze, with all its challenges, joys, twists, and turns, simply appears. From this perspective, there is no ultimate problem to solve. There is only a rich, textured experience to be had fully. There is no wrong turn, only a path that teaches you exactly what you needed to learn. There is no final destination outside of this present, aware, open-hearted state of being. So as we prepare to part ways for now, carry this with you. When worry arises, feel for the deep, still well beneath the surface ripple. When fear strikes, remember you are the sky, vast and untouched, not the passing meteor. When you feel rushed and late, touch the solid, present trunk of the tree of this moment. When you cling in terror, practice opening the palm of your heart. When you are lost in noisy thought, remember how to dive into the silent lake of your being. And always, always know this: you are the sailor, not the storm. You are the awareness, not the maze. You are already whole. You are entirely enough. You are home, right here, right now, in this breath. This is the timeless wisdom of the Buddha. This is the abiding peace of Monk's Temple. Thank you, deeply, for sharing this sacred time of practice, remembrance, and homecoming. May the peace you have touched here continue to grow in you with each breath you take. May you walk through the world with a calm heart, a clear mind, and hands ready to mend, to hold, and to release. May you be happy. May you be free. Good night.